Relationship personality. Any takers? No one brave?
Yeah, put it out.
I'm so glad you asked. What is your relationship personality? Here's the key. Most people do not understand what their relationship personality consists of. And so we meet someone who looks amazing and they have it all in the right places. He's got the muscles, think Idris, right? He's got the muscles, the accent, the great eyes, the great hair, and we're like, I want him. And then if he goes to church, that's a plus, right? So we get ourselves caught up on physical characteristics, and sometimes we don't move past for substance. Substance is where the relationship lies. What do I mean by substance? Who is the person? What's their personality? How do they treat themselves? Because that's the most important thing. Do they love themselves enough to where they're able to love you in the manner that they love themselves? Does that make sense? Because oftentimes we get into situations with people who look good on paper, and you date a month and you see their representative, and then you're like, oh my gosh, who is this person? They turn into a monster. Or, you're getting swiped. I don't know, I'm not on Tinder. I've been married 11 years. I don't know how these dating apps work, but I hear my girlfriends talk about it. Plenty of Fish is probably one of the worst ones that I hear of because it's completely like the hookup site of craziness. But you're meeting these people in hopes of developing something, and then they sell you the goods, right? And then you meet them, you talk to them, and you're like, no, you see the red flags immediately. So when I asked you about your relationship personality, I really want you guys to really think about, how do we attach to other people? Well, what do I mean by that? When you meet someone, what makes you attracted to them, and what makes you want to continue to have a relationship with them? So let's talk about relationship personality for a bit. And I'm a clinical psychologist, so I'm gonna get a bit clinical for you, but I promise to break it down to where you understand it. So in psychology, we have this idea called the attachment theory. And what that is how we attach to other people. How do we learn how to attach from other people? Who are our first teachers? Parents. So how our parents treat us is how we learn to go out and treat people in the world. So if we have an attentive parent, a nurturing parent, a parent that's there to meet our emotional needs, that we can depend on, we can count on. And now, of course, when you're a kid, you don't appreciate that. You don't even recognize how hard mommy and daddy works for you. You don't. You think that's their job to do that. But if you have that, that's what we like to call a secure attachment. So individuals that are raised in that environment, they know how to go out into the world and have great interpersonal relationships. What do I mean by interpersonal relationships? Friendships, romantic relationships, co-worker dynamics, friendships, male and female friendships, parental relationships. They know how to actively function in those relationships. So let's talk a little bit about the insecure attachment. Well, what is that? Well, typically if you have neglectful parents, it's very hard for you to trust when you get in the world. Why is that? Because if your parents aren't there for you, why do you expect anybody else to be there for you? We ever met people like that? No fault of their own. No fault of their own. That's just how they've internalized relationships. And so what I like to do is I like to call that our default behavior. We always resort back to our default behavior. So when we get into relationships and it does not feel good to us, how did you get in that space? How did you hook up with someone that 4 weeks later, it no longer feels good? How is this person attractive for you? You reverted back to your default behavior, what felt comfortable. Does that make sense? So we all go back to Vanessa Williams had a song called The Comfort Zone. Some of you that are in my age range, you might remember that.
Yes.
So the young ladies are like, who is Vanessa Williams? Right? But she had this song called The Comfort Zone, and what that really means is that we all look for places of comfort, right? When you've had a bad day, and if you have a great relationship with someone in your life, do you have a social support that you can reach out to? Yes, no? Right, that's our comfort zone. So we all have that. We all revert back to that comfort zone. And generally that comfort zone is based on the foundation of how we learned how to have relationships. Where do we get our foundation from? Parents. So whatever our parents taught us, that's what we go out in the world to do. I still drive the same way my dad taught me how to drive. I still tie my shoes the same way my mom taught me how to tie my shoes. It is our default behavior, it's what we learn. So I say all that to say that if you have no idea what your relationship personality looks like, and your relationship personality is defined by how you attach to other people. So if you find yourself in relationships that do not feel good, then you have to do a self-assessment. How did I get here? What made this comfortable and who made it okay? Because oftentimes it's very easy to blame the perpetrator in the relationship that's broken your heart, that didn't call you, that didn't treat you right, but who made it okay for him to do that? Does that make sense? Not taking blame, but taking responsibility for the role that you play in a relationship. We all play a role, right? We all play a role. With my husband, I am the damsel in distress. And I had no idea that I played that role until he recorded me one time, because I was like, no, I am Dr. Price, I am fierce, I do this, I do that. And then I had a situation, he always calls me, because I'm from Georgia originally, small town America, if you blink, you'll miss it. And when we touched down in Atlanta, he's like, you instantly turn into a baby. I'm like, I do not. I was like, I'm not a baby. But he's like, no, your voice changes, your whole mannerism changes. I was like, you're lying. Until one day he like secretly recorded me, and I was like, oh. Because the relationship personality that I was playing in that instance was I'm the youngest of 4 girls. So I'm baby girl. My sisters don't see me as Dr. Ross. They could care less that I'm on somebody's TV. They could care less. I am their baby sister. And I play that role really, really well. I do. I mean, my whole Southern dialect comes back. I'm all weepy and white. It's ridiculous. It's almost embarrassing when I think about it. But I never would have had the idea that that's what I was doing had I not been recorded and I saw for myself. So we all function in different roles within our relationships. Who's the oldest in here? Oldest in your family, like the oldest child. Oldest only. So oldest children often have a lot of responsibility, right? If there are younger siblings, parents expect you to help out. So we call my sister, my oldest sister, which is funny because she's a project manager by default, but we're like, she's the project manager. She gets on all of our nerves because she still thinks that she can control whatever we do. And it's like, hello, we're grown. But that's her role. She's the oldest. She's 10 years older than me, and so I've always been her little baby, if that makes sense. So she still feels like she can just tell me, as an adult, what I should do with my grown life. And it drives me crazy, but because I understand that's the role that she's always played, I'm just like, that's just her being her, you know, and I just accept it and I let her talk, and it drives me crazy. Who's a middle child?
I'm an oldest and a middle.
Middle babies get away with a lot. Middle babies. Because you're the baby for a little while, right? You're the baby before the next kid comes along. And then when the next kid comes along, mom is not so strict with the next kid because she's been so strict with the first kid. And then the middle kid is just kind of like, I'm finding my way through as long as I stay under the radar, I'm good. Right? Right? Still doing it. Yeah, exactly. It never changes. But that's your relationship personality with your siblings. So we all play a specific role in our lives. We're just not conscious of the role that we're, because nobody's sitting around saying, Self, who are we going to be today? Right? Nobody's doing that at all. So we all play a specific role. We're just not aware because all that we're doing is defaulting back to what we've learned, to what we've maintained. My parents maintained me being a spoiled brat, and I don't apologize for it. I don't, because I don't. My sister says, oh, she gets away with everything. But I learned from all those jokers, so I never got in trouble. I was like, they're stupid, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in trouble, so I was an easy child for my parents. And being that I was easy, a lot more comes with easy kids if we're just gonna be honest about the situation. If my parents never have to go to the school about me, then I'm their easy child. As long as I come home, do my homework, and stay out the way, it's a good day, right? So I learned that probably at about age 8. I was like, I'm gonna ride this way till I ain't gotta ride it no more. So I ain't have to do like the spring cleaning and all that crazy stuff that your parents make you do, that you wish that they wouldn't. Like, I would easily find a way. I have a band concert. Had a band concert, just make up something. But because I was an easy child, I believed it, right?
Just give them no idea.
You're right. You're right. But what I'm saying is be easy. Because be easy helps you out a lot. So once you understand your relationship personality, once you understand who you are, the better you are to function in your relationships. With my friends, it was just an obvious choice that I would be a clinical psychologist because all my friends used to come to me with their problems. I would be the one sitting in my dorm room, and it was almost like people would knock at the door, can you talk? But when I look back on that, because when I went to college, I was going to be a lawyer. I never had a fight in my life. Who am I kidding? Who am I going to argue with? Like, that's just not even my personality, but it's what I thought I wanted to do until I really became honest with myself about really who am I? So I have an activity for all of us to do. 2 minutes. I want you to think of 25 words to describe yourself that no one else has ever told you. Yes, 25. 25. If I had $2 million today to give to the first person who could tell me who they are in 25 words that nobody else has ever told them, you'd be rich. So I'll time you.
Say it one more time.
25 words. Describe yourself in 25 words that no one else has ever told you. So I hear all the time, you're so friendly. I'm just smiley. It's my natural face. Like, I am friendly because I don't know how to fight. So, but I am friendly. But sometimes I don't want to be friendly, right? So I wouldn't necessarily like say I'm friendly, but that's the perception that people have of me. But if I were to describe myself, I would say I'm human. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll give you 2 minutes starting now.
Put them in your phone, y'all. 25, type them. You know what? If you start typing, it might come to you.